There's a quiet intelligence in everything that happens to you. Even the pain you thought was meaningless was never random. Every heartbreak, every lost job, every sleepless night was life rearranging the furniture of your soul so you could finally sit down in the center of the room. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. It takes time to see it. It takes losing enough times to stop worshipping victory. It takes falling apart enough to stop fearing the fall. And maybe that's what surrender really is. Not a single moment of enlightenment, not fireworks, not bliss, but a gradual melting, a slow unlearning of the habit of control. It's the moment you stop asking, "How do I fix this?" and begin to whisper, "Maybe this doesn't need fixing at all." When that realization arrives, it doesn't shout. It arrives softly, like the first light of morning after a long storm. And suddenly, the same world that once felt like a burden starts to look like a miracle. You look at your own hands and realize they've been performing sacred work all along. You see your breath fog against the window and recognize it as proof of your belonging. You feel the floor beneath your feet and remember that gravity itself is an embrace. You no longer need signs from the universe. The fact that you exist is the sign. The fact that you're aware of existing is the answer. Sometimes you'll still forget. You'll get caught again in the noise of comparison, in the anxiety of progress, in the old lie that peace lives somewhere in the future. You'll think you failed, but failure can't exist where there's no race. The river doesn't fail to reach the ocean, it becomes it. When you realize that, something deep in you exhales for the first time in years. You stop rushing to the next thing. You stop measuring yourself against a timeline that was never yours. You start living in slow motion, not because you've given up, but because you've finally arrived. When you stop trying to control life, something beautiful begins to happen. Your senses wake up. The world starts to speak again, not in words, but in tones, textures, colors. You begin to feel, instead of think about feeling. You start to hear the sound behind the sound, the hum that's always been there, the one that doesn't need your attention to exist. Close your eyes for a moment. Let sound arrive without naming it. Don't call it a car, or a bird, or the wind. Just listen. Notice how every vibration carries the same life moving through it. That hum of existence doesn't belong to you or to anyone else. It's just happening, and somehow, in that happening, you're already included. Most of your life has been spent filtering. Pay attention to this, ignore that. Listen to what's important and block out the noise. But what if nothing was noise? What if even the chaos, the chatter, the traffic, the voices, the heartbeat, were all the same sacred orchestra playing itself? When you listen that way, the world stops being something out there. You stop being an audience member and realize you were always part of the band. The rhythm isn't happening to you. It's happening as you. You can try this with sight too. Look at your surroundings right now. Not to label, not to judge, just to see. Notice how everything appears effortlessly. How color and light are painting themselves on the canvas of your mind. You're not the painter. You're the painting being made, brushstroke by brushstroke, every moment brand new. Even touch can be a teacher. Run your fingers along the surface near you. The texture, the temperature, the weight of it. Notice how each sensation arises and fades without asking permission. That's what freedom feels like. The body doesn't need you to tell it how to live. It already knows. You see, this isn't detachment. It's not numbness or withdrawal. It's the opposite. It's the rediscovery of intimacy with everything, the kind of closeness that doesn't depend on control, the kind of peace that comes from realizing that nothing stands between you and life, not even you. There's a moment in every awakening when the fear arrives. It's quiet, but heavy, like standing on the edge of a cliff with no ground beneath your next step. Your mind whispers, "If I let go, I'll disappear." It's the oldest fear there is, the fear of losing yourself. But the truth is, the you that's afraid was never real to begin with. It was a collection of thoughts, habits, memories. A story told so many times it started to sound like the truth. The more you tried to protect that story, the heavier it became. You've been carrying it like armor, not realizing it was also your cage. The beautiful irony is that when the story finally breaks, you don't vanish, you expand. You dissolve into something far bigger, the space that was always holding the story in the first place, the awareness behind it all. The silence between every thought, the stillness that was never born and can never die. It feels like death at first, the death of control, the death of certainty. But what dies isn't you. It's everything that kept you from being free. What remains is effortless, breathing, moving, being, without the constant background noise of trying. You start to notice that life moves perfectly on its own. The body breathes, the heart beats, the seasons turn. All without your interference. Even your emotions, joy, sadness, love, grief, they rise and fall like waves. You were never meant to stop the waves. You were meant to realize you are the ocean, and once that realization begins to dawn, the fear starts to lose its grip. You see that the collapse you were so terrified of was actually the release. The fall wasn't punishment, it was grace, disguised as loss. Because falling apart and coming together are the same movement, just seen from different points of view. You stop needing to fix yourself. You stop trying to reach some imagined state of perfection. You begin to see that even your flaws are expressions of the same divine intelligence that spins galaxies. The broken parts aren't mistakes. They're the openings through which light enters. And then something soft happens. You stop asking, "How do I hold on?" You start whispering, "Maybe I don't need to hold on at all." That moment, the surrender, isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It feels like a long exhale after years of holding your breath. It's the body remembering how to rest. It's the mind realizing it doesn't need to supervise existence anymore. You realize that the ground you were afraid to fall into has been holding you all along. That gravity is not your enemy, it's your reminder. The universe isn't waiting for you to become worthy of peace. It's been at peace the whole time. You were just too busy trying to manage it. Letting go isn't a skill. It's a recognition that there was never anything to hold. When the storm finally quiets, you find yourself standing in the same world, but it doesn't feel the same anymore. Nothing outside of you changed, and yet everything did. The air feels softer, the light looks kinder. Even the silence has a heartbeat now. You start to notice that life never stopped being sacred. You had simply stopped noticing. The ordinary becomes extraordinary again. Steam rising from your coffee cup, a stranger smiling at you in passing, the sound of rain on glass, the hum of your refrigerator at night. All of it feels like the universe speaking in languages you had forgotten how to hear. You realize that enlightenment was never about escaping the world. It was about finally being in it, fully, completely, without resistance. You wash the dishes, and it feels holy. You take out the trash, and it feels like prayer. You breathe, and it feels like gratitude. There's no race to win anymore, no final destination to reach. You've stopped chasing meaning because you've discovered that meaning is woven into everything, even your confusion, even your sadness, even your not knowing. You begin to live in rhythm with life instead of against it. When things fall apart, you let them. When things come together, you let them too. You stop asking life to explain itself. You just listen. And in that listening, you find a peace so simple it almost feels like silence, but it's alive. Sometimes people will ask you, "What changed?" And you won't know how to answer. Because it's not that you became something new. It's that you stopped pretending to be what you're not. You didn't climb higher, you sank deeper, into this moment, into being, into trust. You still laugh, you still cry, you still make mistakes, but now the laughter echoes longer, and even the mistakes feel like music. You don't need to understand everything anymore. You just let life happen, and somehow it's enough. And when the mind tries to return to its old habits, of worry, of control, of wanting to fix, you just smile, because now you know the truth. There's nothing to fix, nothing missing, nothing broken. Only the infinite play of existence, pretending to fall apart so it can remember its own wholeness again. So you walk through life a little slower now, a little lighter. You stop rushing toward tomorrow and start savoring today. You start noticing that even the act of breathing is a quiet miracle, the universe exhaling through you. And sometimes, when you least expect it, that familiar feeling returns, the sense of being lost. But this time, it doesn't scare you. Because now you know being lost was never a mistake. It was how you were found. You can rest now. Not because everything makes sense, but because it doesn't have to. Not because life is easy, but because it's yours completely. unconditionally, here. So let go again. Let the wind move through you. Let the day unfold without needing your permission. Let life live itself through you. And in the quiet that follows, you might hear it, the soft laughter of the universe, reminding you, as it always has, that you were never separate from it. Maybe you don't need to understand where you're going anymore. Maybe it's enough to know that you are being carried. Every breath, every mistake, every moment of confusion, they're all part of the same guidance, leading you exactly where you need to be. You don't have to try so hard to wake up. You don't have to chase stillness or enlightenment. Just breathe, just be here. That's already it. Because the truth is, life has never needed your control. It only ever wanted your trust. And when you finally give it that, everything softens. The war inside you ends, and what remains is peace. Quiet, simple, unconditional. If these words found you at the right time, pause for a moment before you go. Don't rush to the next thing. Let the silence after this sentence say what words can't. And if something inside you feels lighter now, not because you've learned something, but because you've remembered, then this message was always meant for you. Thank you for listening. And remember, you were never lost. You were only learning how to be found.